Yo, what's going on, guys? Hope everybody had a great weekend. I wanted to get this video out before the short week opened up on Tuesday. So I wanted to get this out to my members and, get everybody caught up for what I'm looking at going into next week. And, just a little bit of recap of last week. So I have the SPY up, obviously, so we can get a feel for the overall market, kind of get a direction of sense of where things are headed. So with that being said, I have the weekly chart up now. Excuse me, I got a little cold. We bottomed out on our MACD. We've had 4 straight green weeks now after that brutal sell-off. We are starting to somewhat clear these EMAs. So since the trend on the weekly's bouncing, we could sort of look for, we're in an uptrend right now. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a clean uptrend, but we certainly are bouncing, and we've had some pretty um, bullish days recently going, in the past. So switch over to the daily now. Big thing about last week was that we broke the bottom of this range at 259.60. We broke out. Great opportunity. We do have that extended MACD and somewhat low light volume. We had a nice volume day on Friday, but I really wanted to focus on the middle of this range. We have two upside targets. I want to pull up on the 30-minute. If this top has to break, and if it does break, that's a main resistance line of 267.15 from the daily chart. One of these lines in here. Sorry, it's messy. That's just how it's got to be. We got this gap and a few other of these candles were pretty heavily affected by the 267.15 area. So that actually held as resistance on Friday's session. We pretty much had a double top. With that being said, I'm almost certain the futures were down Sunday night. It's hard to tell because the market was closed today to Martin Luther King Day. So we're going to have to wait and see what the situation is going to be on the SPY. We do have decent support now that should be built in at the bottom of this range here at the 259.60 level. If these areas do reject, we might have a pullback into this area. It could take a day, it could take a few days, it could take a week. You never know. But that MACD is overextended. I'm going to be patient, wait to see what goes on, see how that reacts. But if this upside from Friday does break, we have room to the 268.40 level and then 270. So there is still some upside room. I have the bottom here, middle congestion, and then the top shoulder on this area. If that 270 area breaks, we have quite a bit of upside room up to this level here at about the 281 area. Definitely something to keep in mind going into this week. But like I said, that MACD is a bit overextended. We are in a clean uptrend, and this could go in two separate directions. So like I said, if it does pull back, we have that support here on the daily. Either way, there's a nice price level action on both sides of the trade. If we do get the upside trade, we're ready to knock out those upside targets. We'll be ready. We'll attack it like snipers. If not, and pulls back, we could even short our supports if they break intraday. You know how I always have my supports for us labeled out. If those break, we can always short them. Look for that, and then we'll see how this consolidates on the support if we get there. That's not saying we're going to get there, but if we do, we got to be ready like snipers, like I said, and attack that shit. So I have a few other stocks I wanted to look at going into this week for different scenarios. Right now I have JP Morgan pulled up. I have the Fibonacci's and the chart resistance. So right now we closed right at the 50% line on the JPM. This resistance line is also chart resistance. 1, 2, congested here, bit of congestion here. This is a notable resistance area. We got right to it. We stopped at it. A few ticks short. We even got a few shares traded up there post-market, but, it sort of ran out of steam up in that area, right near resistance. So similar setup to the SPY. We have that extended MACD down here. Either we're going to gap down Tuesday morning and possibly retrace these supports. And there's another support here at 38.2% retracement, which is also the bottom here from this candle back on July 5th. I'm going to be eyeing this support level. We're seeing that built in a lot of these stocks. Like I said, we are on a clean uptrend. Look at our EMAs, our MACDs in an uptrend, and we do have the weekly supporting our thesis here. We do have that bottoming MACD on the weekly in our larger time frames, but we have to clear these areas first. And personally, I think I'd rather see a clean rejection and then a pullback into support. So we'll have to see if that support holds, or we have to see where we open up on Tuesday. But like I said, this has room down to the 102 range based off the Fibonacci. So roughly 3 points on the downside, and if that does break, we have a decent sized range on the upside here. JPM has some great options available. They're relatively cheap and the spread's pretty tight. So this is a setup I want to look at going into Tuesday. Like I said, this play could go either way as well. So we'll have to see what the SPY does and then follow along here. Another one I wanted to look at, similar setup. We'll go over to Cisco. Strong stock, strong uptrend. Broke out of resistance here. We got the uptrend on the MACD, uptrend on the EMAs. Chart resistance, next one really powerful is at 46.33. This isn't a very volatile stock, but it does have options that are fairly cheap, and this market moves pretty strong with the overall market. So we'll have to see how this plays out. Again, similar support set up here. And we do have that upside room. So definitely keep that in mind. We got to attack it, whatever the trend of the overall market's doing. Similar thing here. We got the bottoming here where you actually cleared the EMAs on the weekly. And as you can see, we really cleared that resistance and now have some room to the upside. So it's definitely potential that we get that 46.30 range. So definitely something to keep in mind. This stock is also cheaper at $45 a share if you didn't want to pick up options and felt more comfortable swinging with common stock. You could definitely do that as well. Maybe a few hundred shares. We'll see how that works out. Just trying to get you guys a broad variety here of what we can really attack the week with. This is going to be a little bit of a bigger video, longer video, but there's some quality content in here, quality setups. I wanted to get it all across to you guys so you're all prepared for the week. Same with myself. I'm really trying to have a great week. I'm really looking forward to that. Last setup I had was Apple, and this is sort of more of a longer term play for me, kind of a swing trade. But we did reclaim this bottom support from the 2017. No, it's still 2018 over there. But still, we did claim that bottom. I wanted to go over the weekly, similar, really extended, bottoming pattern on the weekly chart. What I want to say is look at this EMA. We have to clear this 5 EMA on the weekly to get above this range. But we did reclaim the support from this bottom wick here. And like I said, we're just reclaiming, with this gap filled. We filled that gap. We do have resistance up here at 160.35. So I'm looking for maybe a pullback back onto this area about 150. Similar setup to the other guys. This is more of a longer term play, but if you're looking for more momentum and more volume in the other stocks, Cisco and JP Morgan are definitely stronger than Apple, as you can see. A pretty weak bounce compared to the overall market. So we'll see. There isn't a lot of strength in Apple, but it's definitely set up to keep your eyes on, as we do have room to about 164 if that 160 level breaks. And like I said, we do have that support built in. So that's what I'm looking at this week. I want you guys all to check out the same things. Get yourself organized. Come up with a game plan of your own. If you don't have your own game plan and feel comfortable looking at these setups and trading these setups, that's what's great about this chat room. We all attack the market the same way, like snipers. So with that being said, I'll check in with you guys Tuesday morning in chat. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and let's keep it real.